Anyway, don't forget about checking out our website, www.billycboxing.com. Some other things I wanted to mention real quick was Charles Martin. Did you remember who Charles Martin is, right? Well, in case y'all forgot, that was a greatest hit by Roy Jones Jr. Hey, I'm sure. Where did it go? Gold, platinum? I don't know. Guess y'all forgot. Well, I guess y'all forgot who Charles Martin is. Charles Martin is actually the IBF's World Heavyweight Champion. And he won that title by beating Cesar Glazkov recently. And he really didn't beat him. Glazkov sustained a crazy freak accident, snapping his knee or ripping his ACL, whatever he did, and he couldn't continue, ultimately giving the TKO victory to Charles Martin. Well, Charles Martin is calling out who I think is one of the best young heavyweights in the sport today. Now, listen, I believe that fighters should gain experience and get better and better and increase their level of opposition as time goes on so that they get better and eventually get a world title shot and, be an established fighter by the time they get that shot. So with that said, although I believe that Anthony Joshua from England will be the premier heavyweight of the division at some point, I also believe that this is a guy that, still needs a little more, education in the field, so to speak. A couple more fights. But according to Charles Martin, he wants to fight Anthony Joshua now. And according to Charles Martin's team, they're trying to negotiate. Check this out. Here's a quote from Charles Martin, who's 23-0 with a draw and 21 knockouts, and does not impress me one little teeny bit. Charles Martin, who's his manager, Charles Martin's manager, Mike Barraro, says, I can confirm that Charles Martin is willing to fight Anthony Joshua in April 9th, to be specific, in London. Now, remember, that's the date that Anthony Joshua is already scheduled, and they still have a TBA. But anyway, they're saying they'll take that date. He says, Charles wants to make a statement in his first defense and wanted to fight Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury for a unification. But since both are busy with mandatory and contracted fights with Alexander Povetkin for Deontay Wilder and Vladimir Klitschko for Tyson Fury, Joshua is the next best thing. Martin's promoter, Leon Magola, says, we've reached out to Joshua's people. I think there's interest on their side, but I just don't know if they're ready yet. They know they have a kid they're holding back. I think it's a fight that can be made if they think he's ready to fight Charles Martin. We'd go to England if there's a fight. The kid is a superstar over there. Everyone is saying he's a second coming, so let's find out. Listen, to me, this sounds like 100% bullshit. Or Team Martin has reached out to Team Anthony Joshua and is demanding outrageous amounts of money that they can't make happen. Listen, I don't know about you, but in my opinion, I don't think anyone in the sport of boxing today that knows anything about the sport of boxing, that follows the sport of boxing, could possibly think that Charles Martin could beat Anthony Joshua right now. We all saw Charles Martin in arguably his best performance against his best opponent when his leg broke, when his opponent's leg broke, and the guy showed us nothing except being a big guy. He has no hand speed. He's got no defense. He's got nothing. And even though I believe that Anthony Joshua is not quite ready for a world title, I will tell you this: he'll knock the shit out of Charles Martin. So I don't know if it's all a ploy. I don't know if it's all BS or what. But if they're demanding realistic money, I'm sure that this fight could be made, and Anthony Joshua could start his reign as a heavyweight champion sooner than later. But that's my opinion on this whole Charles Martin wants to fight Anthony Joshua crap that has been being tossed around. And speaking